My name is Catherine Nguyen. I go by Rin, which is just half of Catherine, and I want to be a musician.
My name's Elizabeth Delcid. I don't have an artistic name, but everybody at dance calls me Liz, and I'm a dancer.
Hello, I'm Avery Tingen. I am a kind of mixed media artist. I mainly do drawing and painting, sometimes a little bit of sculpture.
The action of piqué lift and a piqué and a close dégagé. Rotation on the bottom leg is what we care about. 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a out. Fondue, and a go, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, dégagé. Fondue, and a 1, and a 2.
I come from a Vietnamese American family, so Asian household. Pretty traditional values there for the most part. So it took me a while to even consider doing music, I think, but it was just something that I always loved doing as a hobby. So I've like sung my entire life, and even when I was bad when I was little, my parents would tell me I was good, so I think that's where it started, yeah. I originally didn't want to be an artist, I wanted to be a theater artist, and so that's why I came to school. But as far as music went, I would write songs in my room, and I just decided I wasn't going to share them with anybody. It was more like a diary, I think. Like, I was never good at actually writing a diary, but it was more like a music diary. But then I did a pageant for FACT, which is the Filipino Americans Coming Together Club at my school. And they had asked me to do a talent, and I was like, okay, sure. So I decided I was going to sing, and they had said, like, oh, everybody sings, like, could you do something a little more original? And I was like, okay, I can sing a song that I wrote, like, that's original. And so they were fine with that, which is what I ended up doing. And then afterwards, people were like, oh my gosh, where can I listen to that song? And I was like, you can't, but I could record it, I guess. And my uncle had introduced me to his best friend, whose name is Gary, and I knew he recorded music, and so I had reached out to him, and I said, like, hey, can I just record this one song? And then I'll be done with this, and I'll move on. And that didn't end up happening because people really liked the song, so I just kept going, and I realized how much I really loved making music and actually sharing it with people.
My name is Gary Luong. I'm a local singer-songwriter, producer here in Richmond. When I first met Catherine, when she first came in the studio, she wanted production for her song that was doing really well at the pageant. And so my role with Catherine then was just as a producer, like, how can I best bring out the best parts of this song in like a track, or like what kind of emotions are we trying to convey in this song? And then as I continued working with her, I felt like the role evolved as well. As she grew as an artist, I felt like I had to adapt and to cater to what was needed.
Just harmonize with yourself. I used to be super bad at it.
It's been really rewarding, and it's been a constantly evolving role in trying to help her express herself to the best of her ability. So.
Ever since a very young age, I was always just interested in dancing. I think that even in the beginning of high school, my brain was somewhere else, and I think that I didn't 100% knew that this is what I would be doing. Even like before senior year of high school and the beginning of senior year in high school, I still thought I'd be doing something more traditional and taking a more traditional route. I was always really interested in the medical field, and I thought that that's what I'd end up going into. I always loved to dance, and I think that I always thought, oh, well, I will always be a dancer. But when I really thought about it, halfway through my senior year, I realized that if I wasn't a dance major, I wouldn't be doing it as much. And to me, that didn't feel right. And so that's when I decided that dance is what I had to be doing, because it's what brought me so much joy and happiness.
I've always drawn since I was little, and then in high school I really got into oil pastels and sculpture and kind of exaggerating the human figure. And then all of a sudden everyone was like, oh my god, you're so good, you should draw this and you should draw that and you should do this for me. And so I got really into drawing people and character design and everything. It's such a big part of me. I think that it's literally in everything that I do. I don't know, I just feel like this is gonna sound a little conceited, but I think that I'm really good at it, and I know that I have so much potential, and I can feel, especially since being here, that I'm growing so much, and I just feel like I have to do something with that. And I'd love to be a part of some sort of movie, or even at one point maybe even have my own animation company that works for other ones. But definitely I want to establish my own vibe, I think, and then share it. So I just feel like that's important. That's what I want to do. That's my purpose here, is to bring joy, bring feeling, bring something to people through my art.
Feel what's going on from the back line and then stand on the bottom leg and try to keep that rotation seated. See how it's almost like a seat? Yeah. Then drag your heel forward, you turn right. And so you want to feel like the heel is connecting to this back line of the pelvic line so that this stays anchored to support that rotation. And then that's a much more honest position and shape when you get to the real positioning, right? So think of the same thing now with a pointed foot in that feeling. Yeah, so it's something is happening from the back line that you can't ignore in trying to find that rotation. And I feel like we get lost in it.
The female experience as a young person is, there's so many things. There's so many things to touch on. I just think that it's just a deeper experience. I feel like so many women go through so many things so early and so deep, strongly, especially in this time of your life, as a young woman and before. As I'm a freshman in art school, and I am freshly out of high school. I have no experience trying to prove myself in the real art world, and so I think that my opinion is very positive, and that's just because maybe I haven't experienced anything or in the way that others have.
Okay, so usually I typically start with a chord progression first, just to see what kind of sound I like. I'm kind of someone who likes to write the words and the melody at the same time. I can't really do one or the other, so typically I'll pick a capo, let's say 2, and I'll just start playing chords.
And then I sing the whole thing in a rough draft, and I'm going to record it on my phone and see if I like it or if I think it's horrible. And But at the end of the day, I always keep all of them just so I can look back and see like what my progress has been like. And I think all the songs I write end up being like a bookmark for a different chapter of my life and on how I was feeling in the moment because of what I was writing about. But yeah, and I think the songs that I've written about my own life helped me get through the really hard times, and they don't seem nearly as bad when you kind of just sing a song about it. And I don't know if there's like science behind that, but for me, it's always worked. Like I can sing about something really sad that happened, and I think you actually feel really free about it afterwards because I just decided that I could get it out. And sometimes my songs will like make my mom cry, but I'll be like, it's not sad to me anymore. But she'll feel really bad for me, and I'll be like, no, like this is exactly what I had to do. So yeah, it's like my favorite pastime, and whenever I'm bored, it's a really good creative outlet. And then I'll listen to my voice note in the morning, and I'll make any edits if I feel like it's bad, and then that's basically it. It's a finished song.
Wide circle and a 4, and keep it moving. Goes brush and right home, and fondue and home, and stay.
Recognize and know that I don't speak for visual arts as a whole. I just speak for my experience in visual arts here at VCU.
I think one of the things that I've been really blessed with is growing up in Richmond, because I do think that there's a lot of diversity here. And there's so many people now that are so much more open-minded. Being a female in this art space can be challenging just because there's so many dancers that are female. So it's kind of like the males are more in high demand. But I think there's a community where being a female or being anybody in like the dance world, you just feel so accepted and free to be yourself.
I also think the community in Richmond I feel like it's more female based. Like there are male artists and there are, of course, like, you know, but I think that especially in the VCU arts program, I feel like it's more of a feminine situation, and it feels very like welcoming and warm, and everyone is so nice and everyone is so friendly, and oh, I love your outfit, and oh, let me, like as soon as I got here, you guys did the same thing. Like it's just very, I don't know, like I feel at home here, and I would say it's more because of the women.
Like there's something really raw and just genuine about the female experience written through song that is easy to connect with. And it's sometimes really upsetting to know that you're just held to a different standard, and you probably will be for a very long time. And I think that even in theater, like a man in theater will easily get a role because there's just not as many of them, you know, and like if you have a guy tenor who can sing, like, oh, good for you, like you're probably getting cast. But there's like a bunch of girls who like are very, very talented, all like competing for the same thing. And it's just, you just have to work that much harder, I think, for art as a woman in general. In terms of music, like the positive that I said about how like the things you resonate with in female songwriting is like something very special that I don't think a man can capture, so I think that's really nice. But it's definitely something that weighs on my mind a lot, just balancing between theater and music.
I feel like as a male, there's less emphasis on how you look. I definitely noticed that it's more of like what you can do, and there's that expectation on what you're able to offer and provide. It's definitely a different experience based on gender, for sure. I think kind of like your race is also like a huge indication. I feel like being in the South, there's not a lot of Asian Americans, and it makes it kind of challenging to express ourselves and connect with other people, and yeah.
Sometimes it's hard because since it's not a traditional thing, I think a lot of people disrespect it as a career, but also a lot of people don't know what it really takes and how hard it really can be. And then another challenge that I face is more of a personal challenge. I think it's just, and I could I don't speak for everyone, but I think that a lot of dancers go through this as well. It's just like that small part that just is always in you, that it has like self-doubt. And that plays a big part on like how you're doing mentally. I think dance is both a mental and physical thing, and it takes so much of your mental health, but also physical health. It's like sometimes if there's a bit of an imbalance, that can create a challenge for the dancer, so.
Sometimes I think when you're younger, people don't take you as seriously. I think that can be a challenge sometimes. I think being in a place where your genre isn't quite the most popular, and just like being new to anything, like when you don't know a lot of people, having connections is just really difficult.
My parents growing up weren't rich or didn't have much money, but my mom would like do anything. Like I'm saying, like she would like clean up to be a part of these little shows at school, and she'd like try to make up her own costume so that she could be a part of these shows. So yeah, I feel like a lot of my artistry comes from that, and comes from like my family and my background.
When I was looking at colleges, I was really kind of torn because I felt like I had to do something like, and not that VCU Arts is not big, but I was like, I need to go to New York, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to like do something like massive and like go to Pratt or RISD, just these really big art colleges. But my mom encouraged an art career, but she encourages a minor or something practical behind it, which I think is fair.
Well, Vietnamese people love to karaoke. I think in a sense, yes, but I think on the cultural value end, it was sort of a barrier for me for a while, just because the expectation was that I was gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or something. And it doesn't help that like most people in my family actually are doctors or lawyers, so it was sort of like an expected thing. And yeah, so it was a bit of a hard decision for me to kind of move past like the disapproval from my relatives. But now I think I have accepted that it's okay that they may not always agree with my choices. So, well, despite the fact that a lot of my relatives didn't really approve, my parents are actually really supportive of me. They're only like 42, like they're pretty young, so they don't really have those like old traditional values, I don't think. And my dad used to do like theater when he was like a little kid. He would always be like, I was Willy Wonka in middle school, did you know that? And I'd be like, okay, Dad, that's cool. So they were actually really supportive, and they always told me that as long as I'm doing something and I'm putting 100% of my effort into it, then they don't care what it is. They just want to know that I actually am working hard. So that was nice. They have really supported me my whole journey.
I don't think there's a specific end goal. I think I think my biggest goal in life and for dance is to inspire others. I don't necessarily have like, oh, I want to be in this certain company or I want to do this certain thing. I know that I just want to dance and move my body and see where it takes me. I also am very motivated to someday have a place of my own that I can like teach other generations and upcoming generations, and do it in a way that is healthy and impactful to them, where they can not just understand, not just like know how to move their body or where their body is supposed to go, but have this mind and body connection that creates this just wholesome, but like also just like this love for dance that I hope nobody will be able to take away.
Art is something that I'm just so passionate about. Like I have to do something with it. Like I said that a couple times, but I can't imagine a life where I'm not doing something with it. Like I don't even care if I don't make any money. I just want people to see it. I want people to feel. And so I think that that's my purpose. That's my purpose here. I was given this gift, and I made this gift for myself, and I need to share it. I need to push and let other people see it. And like, I don't know. I can't imagine a life where I'm not doing art.
I feel like measuring what success is really difficult, and it's constantly changing as you go forward, because there are certain things that you don't think you're capable of doing until you hit it, and then you're like, oh, I have like another thing now that I want to aspire to. Because my dream honestly used to just be to like have a concert in Richmond, and then I did, and so now I'm like, well, I don't really know what happens next. And then when I got to like open for like Lynn Lapid and Grant Perez, I was like, well, now I don't know what to do next. So I think a small goal I have is, I think I'd love to perform at like a bigger venue in Richmond. I think that'd be really cool. I'd love to tour at other schools and things like that, release another album. I feel like as long as I'm happy with the art I'm making, that's like my end goal, and I try not to have too many like, I have to have like this many followers or listeners type of thing, so I'm taking it one day at a time.
My work is for publicity. Like, I think that there's something so enjoyable about watching someone react to my piece, especially because a lot of my pieces are meant, like, they're built to like disturb. Or I have this one piece where it's a triptych, and it's like someone like peeling their skin back, and someone like popping a pimple, and then someone scratching their back, and it's all like meant to be like these anxious habits that people do exaggerated. So I did get to show them, which was awesome, and I watched people go like, oh, as they were like walking past it, and it was the best feeling I've ever had. Like, it means that my piece is working. It means that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And so yeah, I live for that.
So I think when I did it at pageant that first time, and people were actually like, oh my God, I cried or something, I'd be like, wait, really? Like, that's crazy. It just made me realize that music is a form of connection, and when it's a song that you actually wrote yourself, it's different than like singing a cover, because people like know the song, they already loved it because of this other person. But when it's a song that you wrote and you perform it publicly for them, and they're like, I really resonated with that, you're like, oh, that means you really resonated with me. Like, it's not just like a song, but it's like a part of me that you say you connected with. And so I think that's my favorite part of performing in general, and it's just always really rewarding. I think it's just my favorite part of this job, I think, performing and talking to people.
I've been performing since I was 7 years old. I love performing. Being on stage is so much fun. I think that it is something that makes me want to dance as well, because you live for that moment. Personally, I live for that moment. I live to be on stage, and I think that that's like my favorite thing about it. And when I get off stage, I just want to be back on stage. And it can be overwhelming before being on stage, but when you're on stage, you kind of forget all of those, like, just forget everything.
You know you love her, but to deal with the pain, tell me how you feel about love. Saying that you hate it's not enough. Think it's boring and stupid, and feelings are useless. But I know the truth is you're scared. Tell me how you feel about her. Saying that you're at a loss for words. Love is fun and exciting, warm and inviting. If you stop denying what's there, you think numbers make sense, and love's too intense, so you fall back on infatuation. Try to skip to the end, but you can't jump ahead, 'cause there isn't a perfect equation. And you want the love that'll make you see stars. You want the girl that'll fix up your heart. And you know you love her, but some things are too hard to say. 'Cause what if it doesn't work out? What if she turns you